All right, guys, I just want to say this. When you get out of the military, you are not starting all over again. A lot of people feel lost. That's just the nature of it. Give your life to 5, 10, 20 years to this structured way of life. And then when you get out, as prepared as someone may be, it's always a big transition. It's always a big reset in someone's mind when they leave the military. So what I'm here to do is to get you on that path forward. It's to get your feet wet, show you the ins and outs, the tips and tricks to make you succeed after military life, right? To succeed in the civilian world, because it is not, it is not easy, okay? Because a lot of the things that we learn in the military is you have a specific job to do a specific thing with specific leaders telling you to do X, Y, and Z, right? We come in every day and that's what we're told. In the civilian world, a lot of it is people want to trust that you know what to do. If you get out and automatically hop into some sort of management role or supervisor role, right, that does not mean you're already a leader. What we learn in the military is sacred to us. Sometimes it does not translate well into the civilian world. And what I mean by that is people don't like to be in the military structure. People don't like to have defined goals. When we transition, we come with a lot of skills that to some of us, we don't necessarily how to hone them, right? We don't necessarily know how to flip that switch of, oh, I did this in the military. Here's how it translates. I was an NCO in the military, or I was a high-ranking officer. Even officers, when they leave, it's not all fun and games. It's not as easy as everybody thinks it is, okay? Because there's still that adaptability time frame. It's understanding that whether you were an E7, E8, E9, O10, O9, any one of those, when you leave, sometimes people can get humbled really quick. I'm being dead serious. You can get humbled really quick because, and I've seen this happen time and time again, people leave with the understanding that because of their rank, whenever they step into the civilian world, everybody understands your rank. Everybody understands your culture. They understand, you were someone big, high and mighty in the military. That's not always the case. Somebody can look at you and be like, oh, you're an E9, cool. What does that mean to me? Can you do the job or not? That's what we need to understand. When you step into the civilian world, it's a whole different ballgame. But what I'm here to do is I'm here to help you with that transition. I'm here to assist you with, hey, this is what you did in the military. Here's how people are going to respond to you when you leave. Whether you're a Marine, whether you're in the Air Force, Navy, Army, it all meshes together. When we leave, we're trained to get shit done. Some people love that. Some people just aren't used to that. It all depends on how you approach your transition. It's how you approach getting ready for an interview. It's how you approach writing your resume. Don't ever, ever write a resume that looks like a field report, because I've seen that. Nobody understands what that is. So what I'm about to share with you is my own version of my transition. I'm about to share with you my transition story. So I got out in 2019 and it was a very different world for me than when I joined the military. I joined at 21 and got to drink and all that stuff and party, and I got to jump in the military ready to just do everything. Fast forward, I met my wife the last 2 years of my career, and it was a struggle. And so my last year and a half in the Navy, I actually got a second job because I had to take care of her. I had to take care of Lucas, my son, and I had no idea what I was going to do. I had no idea how I was going to make it in the civilian world. Absolutely no idea. They shove all this information down your throat. They say, here's just everything that you can do, go wild, go nuts. Here's this, and this. And they expect you to learn it in 3 days. All that there is. And that just doesn't work like that. So I got a second job just to try to make some money, try to provide for 2 households, because I was living in Virginia and my wife and son were living in Texas still. It was an extremely stressful time for me. It was waking up every morning just, what am I doing? You know what I mean? Applying for jobs, because what they don't necessarily tell you is when you apply for jobs, you don't need to apply for the exact same thing that you're doing in the military, because you're not going to find it. I take that back. Chances are very slim that you're going to find it. For instance, I worked as an aviation electrician technician. I worked on the electrical boxes and things for all the aircraft in the Navy. I was getting out, and the first thing I searched for was that specific job title. It doesn't work like that. But I was fit for any kind of managerial roles, supervisory roles, technical jobs, whether it was with electronics, mechanics, anything like that. And so fast forward, it was finally time for me to get out. I finally landed a job working as a field service engineer, which means traveling every day of the week, except for Saturday and Sundays sometimes. But that's not always the best thing for a young couple who just got married with a kid, just getting out of the military, because it's all of a sudden you're traveling all the time. Why did you even get out? We were apart for so long. It's just one of those things that if I had had someone in my corner saying, hey, maybe that's not the right fit for you, maybe you can look at these other options where you get to be home every night and you can still apply, maybe not your exact specific job role, but the qualities and the capabilities that you learned, along your military career. So I did that. And then I left that job, obviously, because I was traveling too much to work as a mechanic. I worked as an electrician. And I finally landed a job where I was able to express my own way of working. I was able to show my employer that, hey, I may have to take a little bit of time to learn exactly what you do for your role, but I'm going to do it, right? That determination, that grit, that willingness to succeed, that willingness to complete the mission was already there. All I needed was someone to take a chance on me, and that happened. And now I'm a leader at my company. I lead a team of 50 plus people, and I am still learning every single day. But what I take from a military career is I've had some great leaders, I've had some great mentors, and I've had, believe it or not, surprise, surprise, I've had some shitty leaders. That's not to say that it made my entire career terrible. It's leadership through observation. I got to observe great things. I got to observe things where, like, you know what, that just doesn't make sense and it just doesn't work, because you can't just be a leader one way. You have to be a leader to everyone. Okay, what I mean by that is there's so many different personalities out in the civilian world, and you just have to understand that one way of doing things is not going to get you very far. Saying or believing that people need to get accustomed to the way that I do things. They need to work off of me. They need to structure their way of working to how I manage. That's not the case. And that is not a leader. Let me say that again. That is not a leader. Leaders, their first and most important job that they could ever have is to promote a culture where you are training the next generation of you. Okay. Now, it doesn't mean, teaching everybody step by step how to do something, right? Sometimes you got to let people figure it out for themselves. Sometimes you got to let people fail. But you're always going to be there for that person in that moment as much as they need you to be. That's what a leader is. It's not a micromanager. A supervisor is not automatically a leader. A business owner is not automatically a leader. This is something that you grow into. This is something that you learn over time with so much experience. But now I'm thriving at my company, and what I want to do is I want to give back. I want to help the next veteran transition to where they have a little bit more insight in what they want to do. They have a little bit more clarity in their next role in life. They have a plan to support their family, or if you're single, they have a plan to go back to college. How do you do that process? I can help you with that. How do you apply for these benefits? How do you get this certificate? How do you take advantage of everything that is there for you after the military? So what I ask you guys is go to my website. I have a bunch of free resources in there for you guys to look at. Writing a resume, leadership skills, interview questions. There's even a free workout on there for people who, when they get out, if you want to stay fit, that's there for you. Okay, take advantage of it. It's all free. I have a blog post that I edit every week on leadership styles, management styles, or leadership ways of being a leader, my own leadership stories and things like that. Things that I've learned along the way that I want to share with everybody. Like I said, visit my website. I hope that there's something in there for you. If you want to hit me up, email me, text me, my phone number's on there. Get a hold of me, right? I'm in your corner. I want to help you succeed with your next mission.